While they empty his pockets, I squeeze my way in. I don't think he's noticed me just yet.
What was your plan here tonight?
My mom passed away today, so honestly I came here and I was pretty much just gonna cry and I'll take the punishment.
What's good, homies? Another day, another creep about to be destroyed by Chris Hansen. And today's creep, I gotta say, this dude might be having the worst day out of anybody that's ever been exposed on this show. If you want to know what I mean by that, I'm not going to spoil too much. Make sure you just watch until the very end of this one, because it gets quite sad. And honestly, I think this one's going to be hard to top in that department. Without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
December in Michigan can be a cold and cloudy time of year, and for 32-year-old line cook Jake, tonight is going to be one of the darkest of his life.
So yeah, today's creep is Jake. He's a line cook, and let's just say in his mugshot, he already looks pretty over life at this point, dude. But let's see what's got him so down. Let's see how this encounter goes as he goes over to this house hoping to meet somebody who is literally about half his age. So yeah, he hits up this decoy on one of the websites that they're trolling around on, and he gets right to the point. He's asking what he can do, when he can come over and get this done, and it just seems like a very simple business transaction to this guy, which is so creepy to me. This thing that they could get into so much trouble for, he's just so casual about, and is like, yep, I want this, this, and that. Okay, it's gonna cost that. Sweet, I'll be over in about an hour. It's like this dude's ordering some Uber Eats or something. In fact, I think I honestly spend more time trying to get my cart perfect in Uber Eats or DoorDash than this dude did trying to talk to this decoy and get all of the insane details ironed out of their encounter. But yeah, he's coming over and he's expecting a good time.
My room's upstairs. You want to wait here for a minute? I just gotta go to the bathroom and grab something before I go fast.
A sheriff's deputy posing as the decoy does her best to get 32-year-old Jake to come into the kitchen.
And already we got some red flags. This dude does not want to step into the house, and I don't know if it's because maybe this decoy, even though they're obscuring her face, might look a little bit older than they said they were, and he's just seeing that's a red flag. I think a lot of these people are looking past the decoy, though, at this point, and they just see that it's not, you know, police or some other grown adult, and they think they're in the clear. But I think this dude's a little bit hesitant. Let's see if he decides to go on with this.
You can stay in here then. Like, staying here doesn't matter. But shut the door so that all the heat doesn't get out. How am I gonna wait, don't leave!
Something sets him off and he tries to flee. And what he wasn't expecting next was the ghost team waiting to bring him back in.
So that's right. This dude tries to flee last minute. Maybe he has a change of heart. He might even use this in the interview saying, you see, I tried to change my mind, but then you guys started to chase after me. But no, sorry, you already knocked on the door. You already showed up. You already continued to engage in this conversation after you were told the age multiple times by this decoy. So it's a little late to turn back now, and I think he realizes that as the police are literally searching him and putting him in cuffs as we speak.
The ghost team pats him down first. While they empty his pockets, I squeeze my way in. I don't think he's noticed me just yet.
Any wallet, anything?
So yeah, they are thoroughly patting this guy down, and he just seems to be in shock at this point. He is being very compliant with them, I will give him that, despite himself trying to actually run. I'm pretty sure once he did see law enforcement was involved, he realized it would probably be stupid to keep running, and is instead working with the investigation, so thankfully we don't have any friction on that front. And of course, that's all happening before Chris Hansen comes out. Who knows, this guy might just have a meltdown when he sees him face to face against the biggest creep catcher of our generation.
What brought you to this house tonight?
My mom passed away today, so I honestly can't tell you what I'm doing.
I'm sorry about your mom. That's horrible.
And geez, man, we see why Jake seems to be in shambles, and this is gonna be a difficult one because this sounds like, of course, the worst day this dude might ever live through in his life. He says, according to him, at least, that earlier today, his mom actually passed away in the hospital. He explains that it was from the Big C. This was probably filmed back in the time where there was a lot going on, and yeah, it sounds like he was grieving and decided to use that as an excuse to meet up with a person like this. I'm always gonna say, and I'll continue to say, there is nothing that could ever excuse this. So still, the sob story doesn't count, but that is pretty insane to see that he's living through this today and just decided to throw his life away further as a result of it. And this is kind of proven. I'm sure they also did their research here after the point, and they're gonna tell us if this dude was lying, but he does seem to have a badge on him that Chris asks about that says healthy visitor. That was just something they were putting on so that he was allowed to be admitted into the hospital to see his mother in those final moments. Man, I cannot imagine what this guy's going through, and honestly, this is just depressing to see this shell of a man. But again, it doesn't excuse it, so he's gonna have to sit through this conversation regardless, even if it is already the worst day of his life.
What was your plan here tonight?
I don't even know what I'm doing, man.
Again, my heart goes out to you for losing your mother. That's a horrible situation, but...
And I keep using the word shell of a man, but that's really the only way I can describe this dude at this point. He just seems so devoid of joy and laughter, and it's like he can't even process these things normally, like be angry or defensive like the rest of these creeps. He's just giving up, and he's giving us full transparency and honesty, and I will at least give him that. This might be the most honest person that we've seen so far, especially on this newer series, where these guys are just lying out their ass left and right. I think he sees there's no merit to that. He's already been caught doing this terrible thing. Might as well fess up to most of it and explain why, in his mind, he wanted to do this today.
Do you really think that justifies trying to with a girl?
Not at all, no. Yeah.
The chat was pretty graphic.
Okay.
And yeah, Chris is like, dude, I'm sorry, I can't let off the gas though. I still gotta ask you these questions and make sure we're getting a peek inside this messed up mind of yours, but do you think this excuses it? And thankfully, this guy's realistic enough to say, no, it doesn't excuse it. And I think he realizes that he made a big mistake here. Again, I'm not siding with this guy. I am probably going a little bit nicer than I usually do, just for the sake of his, I don't know, predicament. But I think this dude is finally snapping out of it, whatever his brain was like attached to in order to, you know, make himself go through with this. And he's now realizing just how badly he messed up.
We've seen the chat. We've seen the
Yeah,
chat.
sure. It's hard to say, like, is she not? I don't know. I thought the chat was very weird.
And now we are getting to a little bit of dishonesty here. I was going to say, dude, are we going to have our first ever live free video? But no, he does have to cover his ass a little bit here and say, I don't know if necessarily I knew that that was their age, even though, yeah, they told me multiple times and I was still a little bit sketched out about it. And, you know, that's probably why I turned around, because I realized it was a police sting. But no, besides that, I don't really think that they brought it up. So I can't really be held accountable for that. Like, dude, I'm sorry. The decoy says it multiple times. You knew what was going on. He's trying to use this lie that these other people do where they say you got to be 18 to sign up for this site, as if people can't sign up for stuff they're not old enough for. Anybody who's been around for as long as I have on the internet knows that's just something that you do. It's like a rite of passage, you know what I mean? So yeah, he can't really use that excuse. On to the next one.
She was very direct in like what she was doing, and then she said she was doing it for a long time. And then I was just thinking, like, what?
And even this dude is like trying to think of the decoy's backstory. Like, Jesus, how messed up are you? The decoy said they were, and they also said they've been doing this for a long time. So he's trying to do the math like, bro, you've been doing this since you were, or what? Like, what's going on? That is dark, but still he was wanting to participate in it. So I guess he can act like he has a conscience, but really we know that's not true.
What's a long time?
Why
Like, did she
even
start
do
at,
it?
like, 10 years old? I don't know. Honestly, I came here and I was pretty much just gonna cry,
And man, this is one of the most depressing episodes I've ever seen. This dude just sounds like he has nobody in his life, family or friend-wise, that he can go to in this dark time. And he sounded like he's coming over here so he can cry on their shoulder, which obviously we know from the chat logs he wanted things besides that. So that's probably a lie, but still, it is just so sad to hear this dude really desperate for some human connection. And it's like, this is just not the way, man. And you're realizing that the hard way now, as your life is completely changed from here on out.
I don't think I would have went through with anything personally, but I can't do this.
But you showed up.
I try to. Yeah.
Chat is chat, but showing up is showing up.
And Chris is really trying to hammer home the point that, dude, you can say you didn't want to do it as many times as you want, but the fact is you're here. And when you're physically here, that shows that there was intent and you were going to go through with it had we not been here. So that lie doesn't really work either.
So what should happen?
Whatever's gonna happen, I guess. Yeah, I'll take the punishment.
Do you think you would have done this had it not been for the death of your mother?
It's hard to say.
Hard to say. Have you ever done it?
This dude is just fully given up at this point. He's like, you know what? Jesus, take the wheel. At this point, just throw the book at me, whatever you need to do. I just would really prefer to get out of this interview and get off camera if possible. So let's try to move that along, please.
Hard to say. Have you ever done this before?
No.
You've never met somebody online? So just tonight, all of a sudden this started.
It was like, yeah. It was like on my way up to go see my mom.
And it sounds like he was having correspondence with this person on the internet as his mom was in her final moments. He was heading to the hospital. Then she sadly did succumb to whatever it was that was ailing her. And he just decided to go through with this. This whole story is just tragic, dude. There's no other word for it besides tragic. But also it's all self-imposed, at least on this front. Like, dude, you needed to have the wherewithal to realize how badly you're messing up and how gross this is.
Well, there's something you need to know, and that is that I'm Chris Hansen. Is there anything else you want people to know?
No.
Okay. Some guys are here with the Genesee County Sheriff's Department. They'd like to talk to you.
So finally, Chris gives him the floor one more time if he wants to say anything. And clearly, this guy is done. He's defeated, and he's about to get arrested and hauled off to jail, where honestly, they treat this guy pretty nicely. They put him in cuffs and pat him down again, but he just seems so defeated and sad, as anybody would be in his situation when it comes to his mom, as well as this combo, this gut punch of just like destroying and derailing your entire life as a result of your grief. This one was just insane to me. And according to Chris at the end here, he was sentenced to 2 days in jail and 6 months of probation. So hopefully this will be enough of a warning for this guy to get his life in check, but who knows? Honestly, I want to know what you guys thought of this one down in the comments below. Do you think I went too soft on him? This one was honestly quite depressing, so I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes with some of these episodes. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and until next time, peace out.